2023, there were over 14,000 games released on Steam alone. Even if you wanted to, you physically don't have the time to play all these games that were released just last year. Even with a generous assumption that each game would take you roughly 10 hours to beat, which is honestly a blatant lie, because a lot of games today are massive 50-plus hour monsters. Even if you wanted to, you'd need to devote 145,310 hours to beat these games, which comes out to 16 and a half years of 24-hour straight gaming sessions, just to beat the games on Steam from 2023 alone. Assuming that you don't sleep, eat, work, or do anything besides play video games for 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. No hanging out with family or friends, just playing games. Now, I highly doubt that you're spending 24 hours a day for 16 and a half years playing games, because, well, first of all, you'd be dead from lack of sleep in a few days, probably starvation, other things of that sort. If you're anything like me, you might consider yourself to be a casual gamer. And I feel like in 2024, now more than ever, it's harder to actually, well, casually game. I wish that I had more time to play, but I'm a guy in his mid-20s, and I have a lot of things going on, so here's an approximate breakdown of my 168 hours each week. Like many of you, I'm working a full-time job, and that takes usually about 40 to 50 hours per week out of my schedule. And then when I'm not working, I spend another good chunk of my time spending time with my friends, my family, or my girlfriend. If I wanted to break it up, I'd say I'm probably devoting another 30 or so hours to my relationships. After that, I also like to exercise. I try to do that daily, so I'd say I spend about 10 or so hours out of my week doing that on average. So here we are, we're at about 80 hours. Just about half of the week already used up. And obviously, everyone sleeps. If I'm being a good person and getting my 8 hours every night, that's 56 hours a week you spend sleeping. So now we're at 136 hours of my week, just in the bag. On top of this, I'm trying to build my own YouTube channel with my massive audience, which I'd say between scripting, editing, recording, and all that jazz takes about another 15 to 20 hours per week. So here we are, 156 hours used on average each week, which leaves me with around 12 free hours to play video games. And again, this doesn't count any other general chores or errands that would come up in anyone's day-to-day life. And to any of you people out there who feel the same as me, but are at the point in life where you have families to take care of and still manage to find some time to handle your responsibilities while creating time for yourself to play those games that you love, I genuinely salute you, because I really don't think I'll be able to find time for it when I get to that stage of my life. Although I do like to hope that I will still be able to find some time to play. And yeah, obviously not every week is like this. Some weeks I have more time than others, but you know how life gets. Things get in the way, and sometimes in my downtime, I'm literally just too exhausted to even bring myself to turn on the console, because sometimes I just want to turn off my brain for a little bit. And that leads me to my next point. For me personally, a huge appeal of video games is the ability to just escape for a while, relax, and unwind. But nowadays, it's like every game I play, I feel like I have to use 110% of my brain and focus just to get through them. And this isn't necessarily a bad thing. I do love games that challenge me and make me think, but sometimes I just want something nice and easy to chill out to. There are games like Minecraft, Animal Crossing, Stardew Valley, etc. And they could all be their own forms of therapeutic escape in a way. There's something that just hits really different about that annual 2-week Minecraft phase, where you just boot up a new survival world for the millionth time, and going through the typical steps, gathering wood, building your base, strip mining until you develop carpal tunnel, as you let the music just put you into a trance-like state. And there's just something to be said about these sandbox-esque games like this that are essentially virtual escapes. And yeah, I know it's a meme online that everyone plays Minecraft for a bit here and there, gets bored, moves on. But for me, whenever I decide to clock in some time playing, I just really enjoy it for that time, whether it's a day, a week, a month, or however long. On the other side of games that don't really require a crazy amount of focus or brain power, I just kind of miss the linear playstyle of a game, where you move from checkpoint to checkpoint just to progress the story. Yeah, in Minecraft and other sandboxes, you do whatever you want, and you get achievements for a sense of progression, but in reality, you don't really have to do anything that you don't feel like doing. And you could still get the sense of infinite progression in the sense that you can continuously build up your farm, expand your base, or really whatever you want to do. But I'm talking like legitimate linear games. The games that have no extra hidden side stuff, and I don't really have to Google the entire walkthrough of the game just to make some progress. And I think that's why I find myself going back and playing the Pokemon series so often, because I know exactly what I need to do to get through the game, but the ability to switch up my team gives me a little bit of freshness each time I play through. Plus, that music just absolutely hits in almost every single game. And as a side tangent to that, I really miss those official guides that help you progress the games. Back when I played Tears of the Kingdom, I had an awesome, all-inclusive guidebook to help me get through some of the parts that I found to be challenging, and it was great. I didn't have to Google every single thing that got me stuck, and it kind of feels like now I have to stop and research every point of the game, and it takes a lot away from the actual experience for me. While it's completely true that I'm god-awful at video games, I think I could speak for a good amount of people when I say that I do really miss the simplicity and straightforwardness of some games that I played in the past. And if you're anything like me, you might buy a video game and set a goal for yourself to beat it before buying another one. Like, I don't want to drop $60, sometimes upwards of $70 on a game just to play for a little bit and then realize that a new game's coming out, put the game that I've been playing on to the side, buy the new game, never pick up the game again that I was originally playing, and then just continuously repeat this because the odds are that another cool game will drop before I finish that second game that I started, which would then result in me being stuck in this infinite loop of spending money, not experiencing a full game because I'm either in a huge rush to beat it, or I just stop playing altogether to play something that I deem as better. In the mainstream landscape of incredible AAA titles, pretty much all of these games are 70 hours plus to truly experience everything that they have to offer. And the biggest reason why I've been putting off Baldur's Gate for so long is because I feel like if I start that, I won't play another game for 2 years because of how long it might take me to beat. Going back to the math earlier, if I'm playing a game for a couple of hours each week, it'll probably take me months to beat a game before I start another, so I'm pretty much always behind. I started God of War Ragnarok in early January, and I just finished it maybe 2 weeks ago, which would be the end of March. It took me around the same time to beat Ghost of Tsushima a few months ago, and I really, again, only did the main story. When there's basically infinite subpoints inside of games, it can become incredibly daunting to get to the end of the game. It's alright, I beat the main story, but I actually only covered 40% of the content that's in the game. So did I really beat it? I don't know, you tell me. With that said though, the extra stuff is really cool, and I think I'll end up going back at some point and trying to experience these games in as much as their entirety as possible, but I always just tend to move on once I beat the main story. And because of all the extra stuff, the size of the games, and my general mentality and sentiment when I tackle them, sometimes it makes gaming feel like a chore to me. I don't know, sometimes I want to shut my brain off like I said and rip into a game for a couple hours just to unwind, and I'm by no means saying that these games aren't great, but I've had days where the entire day I was looking forward to getting home from work, getting all of my daily to-do list items done, and firing up a game. Then it's 9 p.m., I'm mentally drained, and I don't even feel like investing the brain power into the game, let alone turning on my PlayStation or whatever console it might be. I'm not trying to sound like a whiny little bitch by any means, because the solution to my problem could just be to only play easy games. But to be honest, I love games that challenge me and put my problem solving to the test, but I just really have to be in the mood to play something like that. In my last video I talk a lot about how I beat Elden Ring, so I'm definitely capable of playing and beating the games that I want to beat, even with my subpar skills, but I sometimes just miss the era of my Game Boy and DS and those platformer days when I'd be able to fire up the game, play for a bit, put it down, and pick it up where I left off whenever I feel like it. I've been playing Pokemon Pinball on and off for 10 years, and I don't get really tired of that. It's just super therapeutic to me for some reason. Nowadays, it's if I put a game down for more than a couple days, I'll go back into it and we'll have to re-remember what the hell I was doing, why I was in a specific spot, and pretty much remember all of the mechanics and relearn the controls. This happens to me a lot, and honestly, it's my own fault for not staying consistent. But sometimes life gets in the way, and I go a few days, weeks, or sometimes even months without picking up a game, even if it's one that I really love and I'm excited to play and beat. But, as I get older, if there's anything that I've learned, you'll never have enough time in the day to do everything that you feel like you need or want to do. And I know that there are definitely plenty of great games out there that will have what I'm looking for, but sometimes it feels like I need to play all of these AAA games just to be involved in the discourse that's going on all over the internet so I can stay in the loop. But the moral of the story is, no matter how much you might want to, You physically cannot do everything. And this is just a tip for life in general, not just gaming. In the era that we live in of constant FOMO, I think it would be great to be able to just take a step back and realize that just because something might be popular, it doesn't always mean that it's going to be up your alley or your style. And that's honestly completely fine. So if you have limited time and you like to play video games as a hobby, but you struggle like me to find the time to do so, or find it difficult to keep up with all these expansive titles, just play whatever you want. Don't feel like you need to be constantly keeping up with the new releases or play what others are saying is the hype thing to do or play. And just don't be afraid to fall a little bit behind sometimes if it means that you're doing stuff on your own terms. It's your hobby, your life, and no one should be able to tell you how to enjoy that. I'd really love to hear your opinions on today's gaming landscape in general, or the styles of games that you enjoy, or if you have any suggestions for maybe some lesser known games that you feel some sort of connection to, because I'd love to look into them myself. Anyway, that's all I got. Thanks for watching.